In Activity 8, Humidity, students observe the effect of moisture on cobalt paper and use it to measure the air humidity. Students then begin to record humidity data to the class weather data chart. You will need the following materials from the kit: Activity Sheet 8, envelopes from Activity 7, 1 pint fluted plastic containers, round plastic containers, plastic trays, weather data chart from Activity 6, cobalt paper, and a roll of masking tape. You will also need to provide pencils, a pitcher, scissors, and warm tap water. To prepare for the activity, make a copy of Activity Sheet 8 for each student. This activity will work best on a dry day. Cut each sheet of cobalt paper into 4 equal pieces and set up a distribution station with a pitcher of warm water and the masking tape. Each team of 2 students will need 2 fluted containers, a round plastic container, and 2 pieces of cobalt paper. To begin the activity, introduce the term humidity. Some of the students may know that it refers to the amount of moisture or water vapor in the air. Explain that when the humidity is high, there is a lot of water vapor in the air. When the humidity is low, there is little water vapor in the air. Ask students, how does water vapor get into the air? Students should remember that it evaporates from water. Then ask, where might the water vapor in humid air evaporate from? Students will probably suggest oceans, lakes, rivers, or puddles. Next, ask students, if you were in the desert, would you feel high or low humidity? How would it feel at an ocean beach? Why? Lead the students to understand that in the desert there is low humidity because there is little water that can evaporate, while at an ocean beach there is high humidity because there is evaporation from the ocean. Ask students, how can you tell when there is high humidity? Students may mention that they can feel it. Invite them to relate their personal experiences with high humidity. They may mention storms or hot summer days. Then ask students, how can you tell when there is very low humidity? Students will probably mention that the air feels dry and that lips and skin may chap. Next, distribute the materials. Be sure to tell the students that the blue paper is treated with a special chemical and that they should not put it in their mouths. Instruct them to place 1 piece of the cobalt paper in one of their fluted containers and label their containers with masking tape. Then have them fill the container 2 to 3 centimeters high with warm water from the pitcher. The paper will turn from blue to pink. Ask students, what do you think made the paper change colors? They will likely think that the water caused the change in color. Next, instruct students to place a dry piece of cobalt paper into the round plastic container and place the round container into the fluted container containing the water. Have them invert the second fluted container and place it on the water-filled container and observe what happens. Make sure the students dry their hands before touching the dry piece of cobalt paper, since even a small amount of moisture will turn the paper pink. Use masking tape to seal the 2 containers together. After several minutes, when the water vapor has begun to fill the containers, ask students, what is happening to the water you put into the fluted container? They should recognize that it is evaporating and entering the air as water vapor. It is possible that some of the water vapor may have begun to condense on the inside walls of the other fluted container. Ask students, how has the humidity in the container changed? Students should answer that the humidity has increased. Then ask, how has the special paper in the small container changed? Students should note that blue is fading and the paper is turning pink. Even though there is no visible water in the small container, the paper is changing color due to the water vapor in the air. Next, instruct the students to remove the round container from the fluted container and place it on the tray. Have them observe the paper until it is dried. What happened to the paper? Students should say that the paper turned blue again. Explain that once the paper was removed from the humid container and placed in the drier air, water evaporated from the paper, returning it to the color it had been when it was dry. Then ask students, how can this special paper be used to measure the humidity? The students will see that the paper turns pink when the humidity is high and blue when the humidity is low. Next, distribute the students' journal envelopes. Give each student a copy of Activity Sheet 8. Instruct them to fill in the top line so they can keep track of what the colors of the paper mean. Have each team gather the round container with the now dry cobalt paper and take them outside. Wait several minutes for the paper to adjust to the outdoor humidity. Then ask students to observe the paper and estimate the degree of humidity based on the color of the paper. Return to the classroom and gather the class around the class weather data chart and fill in the humidity column. Ask students, is today a day with low, medium, or high humidity? Their answers will vary depending on the actual weather. Come to a consensus on the humidity level and record the data on the chart. Finally, have the students continue to observe and record the humidity during their daily morning and afternoon weather observation sessions. Also, each day, record the new data on the class weather data chart. To conclude the activity, empty the fluted containers and discard the used cobalt paper. Return the fluted containers, unused cobalt paper, masking tape, and trays to the kit. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science Reader, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.